Thinking about getting behind the wheel in Spain? Great. But before you hit the road, there are some key rules you really need to know to stay safe and legal. So in this explainer, we're going to break it all down. First, what you need to know as the driver, and then what you need for your car.
So what do you really need to keep in mind? Well, we've split this whole thing into two main parts to make it super simple. First, we're going to talk all about you, the driver, your license, the point system, and the special rules for novices. Then we'll shift gears and get into your vehicle itself, the paperwork and the inspections you absolutely cannot ignore.
All right, let's jump right into part one, all about getting that first Spanish license. We'll start at the very beginning with the rules that kick in the moment you're considered a novice driver.
Okay, so for your entire first year as a new driver, you've got to have that green L plate on the back of your car. It's a must. Now, here's a super important one to remember, the alcohol limit. For your first 2 years, it's way stricter, just 0.15 milligrams per liter on a breath test. But hey, here's some good news. You don't have to worry about different speed limits. From day one, you follow the same speed rules as every other driver on the road.
Now, what about keeping that license valid? The renewal schedule is actually pretty straightforward. If you're under the age of 65, you'll renew it every 10 years. Simple enough. Once you hit 65, that changes, and you'll need to renew it more frequently, every 5 years.
Okay, now let's get into something really interesting, the driver's point system in Spain. It's kind of different from what you might be used to. You don't get points for doing something wrong. Instead, you start with a set number of points, and you lose them if you break the rules. The cool part? You can actually earn more points just by being a good, safe driver.
And this right here shows that journey perfectly. Every new driver in Spain starts out with 8 points to their name. But if you keep a clean driving record, you can gradually build that up, all the way to a maximum of 15 points. It's basically the system's way of rewarding you for being a responsible driver. So how does that work exactly? Well, you start with 8 points. Drive for 2 full years without any tickets, and boom, you automatically jump to 12 points. Keep that clean streak going for another 3 years, and they'll give you 2 more, putting you at 14. And then, after one last 3-year stretch of perfect driving, you finally hit the top, the full 15 points. But what if you slip up? We're all human, right? What happens if you lose some of those precious points? Well, don't panic. There are official ways you can get them back. You've basically got 2 main paths to take here. If you just need a small top-up, you can take a 10-hour partial recovery course, and that'll get you up to 4 points back. But if you've had a really bad run and lost all of them, there's a more intensive 20-hour full recovery course that'll reset you completely, right back to the starting line with 8 points.
All right, so that's everything about you, the driver. Now let's switch our focus to the car itself, because there are 3 specific documents that you absolutely, positively must have in your vehicle at all times.
These are the big 3: the registration certificate, the technical inspection card, or ITV, and of course, your proof of insurance. But here's a fantastic pro tip. You don't actually have to carry the original documents with you. The law says certified photocopies are totally fine, and trust me, that can save you a world of headaches if the real ones ever get lost or damaged.
The registration certificate, or permiso de circulación, is basically your car's passport. It links the vehicle to its owner and lists all the key details. But the most important piece of info on this document, for our purposes, is the date of first registration. Why? Because that date starts the clock for when your car needs its very first technical inspection.
And that's a perfect lead-in to our final section, the mandatory vehicle inspection, known in Spain simply as the ITV. This is the official system that makes sure every car on the road is actually safe enough to be there.
Now, as you can see from this table, the rules for how often you need an inspection change depending on what you're driving. But to keep things simple, we're just going to focus on the most common one by far, the standard passenger car. Let's break that down.
So let's start with a brand new car, fresh off the lot. The magic number here is 0. For the first 4 years of its life, a new car is completely exempt from the ITV. That means 0 inspections needed. Nice, right?
Okay, after that 4-year honeymoon period is over, the magic number becomes 2. Once your car is between 4 and 10 years old, you move to a biennial schedule. You'll need to get it inspected every 2 years.
And finally, we get to the number 1. The moment your car passes its 10th birthday, the inspection becomes an annual thing. From that point on, it's one checkup every single year, like clockwork.
So this is a question that comes up a lot. If there's a fine, who has to pay it? Well, it all depends on what the fine is for. If it's for something like speeding, that's on the driver.
But if it's an issue with the car's paperwork, like an expired ITV, that fine goes to the vehicle's owner. When it comes to safety gear, it gets personal. The individual not wearing a seatbelt gets the ticket. For helmets on a motorcycle, though, the responsibility falls back on the driver. And before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this one. Direct quote from the official regulations. It's so clear, there's no way to misunderstand it. An expired driver's permit does not authorize the holder to drive. Period. There's no wiggle room, no grace period. The message is crystal clear. Always, always stay on top of your renewal dates.
So there you have it. That's the essential framework for driving legally in Spain. You know the rules for the driver, and you know the rules for the car. But that kind of brings up a bigger question, doesn't it? Now that you know all the official rules, what about all the unwritten ones? You know, the local customs and quirks of the Spanish roads? Well, that's a topic for another day. Thanks for joining me.